Title: Yosemite Nature Notes Monarchs and Milkweed. A uniformed park ranger stands in a wide-open meadow filled with waist-high plants. He leans down to watch an orange and black butterfly.
That is awesome. You've got these... Look at it. Oh, it's glistening. The proboscis is glistening.
He spins around, looking for the butterfly.
We're on, I guess you could say we're on a safari, a microcosmic safari. And as I look over the field of milkweed here, you're seeing a lot of activity, a lot of insects are flying around. This is going to be invisible to most people, other than they see these little pink pom-poms as they drive by, and they probably don't give it a second thought. But take a little extra time, and you're going to see that those little pink pom-poms are a world unto themselves, with all these strange, charming little life forms.
An iridescent blue beetle clings to a milkweed bud. An ant climbs into a milkweed flower. A monarch butterfly waves its long, thin antenna. The milkweeds are green leafy plants with large round clusters of flowers. Each flower has 5 wide petals that fade from pink to white, and a corona of 5 white, horn-like growths. In slow motion, a hummingbird hovers next to a milkweed flower cluster, its wings rapidly beating the air. Bees buzz from flower to flower, their tiny wings blurred with motion. One bee swerves around a plant, turns smoothly, and touches down on a flower. Several beetles clamber on top of round milkweed buds. A bee holds onto a flower with 2 legs, trying to get a grip with its other legs. Butterflies flutter away from the milkweed plant. As a bee clings to a flower, another bee flies near, pauses, then charges. In a jumble of wrestling legs and wings, both bees fall out of the air. A monarch clings sideways to a flower. From above, a perfectly camouflaged mantis lunges, sinking its claws into the butterfly's delicate wings. A black and white moth slowly flaps its patterned wings. A hummingbird hovers near a milkweed, then speeds away. A monarch swoops down at another monarch on a flower, then flies away. On another flower, 2 monarchs take flight and joust in midair. One monarch flies off with the other in pursuit. A monarch beats its wings and takes off from a flower cluster, narrowly avoiding colliding with a passing bee. In the valley overlooked by craggy cliffs, a monarch glides over a sunlit field.
So there's all this life that you're going to find on this one plant. Bees, to wasps, to beetles, to, well, probably the most charismatic, the monarch butterfly. One of the defining characteristics of monarchs is that they are tied to this milkweed. That is their plant.
In terms of relationship to the plant, it's absolutely key to have these available to monarchs. No milkweed, no monarchs. It's that simple. The larvae absolutely require the milkweed to feed upon. The milkweed has some substantial defenses. It has latex that it produces. For instance, if I puncture this vein, we'll get some latex oozing out. On top of that, the plant has an additional deterrent, which is a poison. The monarch can deal with this. So eggs are laid on here. Monarch caterpillars, larvae, feed on the plant. Not only are they able to successfully graze upon the milkweed despite the latex gumminess and despite the poison, they're actually able to incorporate some of that poison into their own bodies and use that as a defense against predators themselves.
A yellow and black striped caterpillar.
I mean, the milkweed not only provides protection for the butterfly, but it's essentially a crib for its babies. It's like a nursery. So what happens if you don't have a nursery? Your numbers are going to decline. And that is the very serious threat that is facing monarch butterflies right now.
In the field of milkweeds.
So here, it's great because we're a national park. Milkweeds are protected. But of course, one of the things that make monarchs so special is this epic migratory journey that they make, with different generations traveling throughout North America. This great little patch of habitat here isn't enough.
Two monarchs fly together into the distance.
Once you get outside these protected places, those milkweeds right now are on the decline. And that's mostly because of herbicides.
One of the things with milkweed is that they're very effective at colonizing areas that are disturbed. So a classic example of wonderful milkweed habitat are the hedgerows in between row crops. There has been some genetic engineering more recently that have made crops more resistant to herbicides, which means that greater amounts and higher concentrations of herbicides can be applied, and in many cases this is finally too much for the milkweed. When the milkweed goes, the monarchs go as well.
A tractor with two long sprayer arms drives through a field of crops. On a flower, a monarch folds its wings. Each wing is edged in black with large orange patches and smaller white dots. The monarch's body, small by comparison, is black with white dots. A long, flexible proboscis extends from the butterfly's snout, bending and twisting to fit into the narrow spaces at the flower's center.
This is one of the most beautiful butterflies you're going to find. Orange and black stained glass windows that are kind of fluttering through the meadow.
Two monarchs fly together over a meadow, gliding along and occasionally flapping their wings. The large, bright orange wings are plainly visible against the pale green environment.
If you ask a child what is their favorite insect, they might say a butterfly, and if you ask them which one, they would probably say a monarch, and that seems like a terrible thing to take away from our kids.
A monarch flies past in front of a view of a waterfall and high cliffs.
You know, there's that John Muir quote, pull on one thing in nature and you'll find the rest of the universe hitched to it. Just look at one milkweed plant and you will find a whole universe.
A dozen beetles scuttle on a half-eaten milkweed leaf. A yellow, white, and black monarch caterpillar crawls along the underside of another plant. A butterfly drifts by under white clouds and blue skies. Credits. Produced by Stephen M. Bumgardner, featuring Jeff Holmquist and Eric Westerlund. The National Park Service logo appears.